Cool. And we're live. Hello, hello, hello. And welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV and Sorin's Journey. Continuing into Endwalker. Just gotta make sure I've got my drink ready. Last time I had to cut it a bit short because I didn't get enough sleep or something. I was yawning far too much. Hopefully that won't be the case today. And we're going to be continuing on the MSQ. Last time we finished up the little Thavnair portion of the opening part of Endwalker. We were able to help the alchemists of the Great Work complete this warding scale, though we did lose Nidana in the process. Learned a little bit more about Van Daniel. That he is a reincarnation of Amon from the Crystal Tower. For now, I've got to close my chat box. I believe the Scions were doing some research to try and find out just why Sharlayan is being so secretive at the moment. Alice, have we found anything? Ready for tea break, Sorin? I know I am. Honestly, my neck and shoulders are going to calcify if I don't stretch my legs and walk around for a bit. You know the last stand down in the harbour, don't you? Come and meet me near the outside tables, and I'll treat you to their coffee. It's quite good. Right. Guess a change of scenery won't do any harm. We're not inviting any of the others? Raha, do you even want to? I guess not. Just me and Alze then. If I remember correctly, the last stand was down by the docks. Just there, isn't it? I suppose I can't hurt try a little bit of Sharlayan cuisine that's not Archon loaf. Alice? As busy as ever, I see. A very Sharlayan to know of a gourmet cafe has sprung up to compete for customers. Actually, this crowd gives me an idea. Before we place an order, why don't we ask a few questions and gauge the mood of the city? I'm interested to hear what the average citizen has to say about Telephoroi. We might even learn something new. Worth a try, don't you think? Right. Suppose it can't hurt. Hello there, sir. What is it? Can I not enjoy a moment of private respite? If you're looking to share a table, then I respectfully request that you look elsewhere. You misunderstand, sir. We were simply wondering if you knew of the Telephoroi. These enemies of peace have promised an end to all we hold dear, and... You're that House Levier girl, aren't you? This man of you is obviously a foreigner. I'd heard you were disowned for helping outsiders indulge in their barbaric whims, and here you are giving truth to the rumour. Oh, thank you to leave me be. I've naught to say to the likes of you. Well, I must apologize. It is foolish of me to expect none of civility from one so enlightened. Come, Sorin. Right. Maybe... Is there anyone a little friendlier looking? Excuse me. Yes, I don't believe I've had the pleasure. Excuse the interruption, but we were hoping you might share your thoughts on the Telephoroi and their unconscionable plans. I goodness, if it isn't a young Miss Levier. My apologies, but I work in the offices of the Forum, and if word reached Master Folchno that I was helping you... I see. We're sorry to have bothered you. You okay, Alize? Well, the customers have been decidedly uncooperative. Maybe the staff would be more willing to answer our questions. Excuse me, sir. Welcome, sir. What can I offer you today? Wait, is that Mistress Alize I see there? My word, how long has it been? Far too long. Meet Dickon, the owner of the Last Stand. I used to frequent his cafe on occasion, in between lessons at the studium. Ah, it seems like an age ago now. I remember hearing that you and Master Alphino had set sail for Eorzea, but then you never came back. Lately there's been gossip about your father disowning the pair of you. Everything alright at home? It's complicated, and I hadn't expected complete strangers to be so familiar with our situation quite so quickly. Everyone has an opinion, it seems. Well, it is House Levier. No matter how discreet Master Folchno may have been, news of your family's doings never stays secret for long. Things being what they are, what brings you back to the city now of all times? We have questions, and only Sharlayan has the answers. Tell me, Master Dickon, have you heard anything about an apocalypse called the Final Days? What, like the end of the world? Nothing like that, I'm afraid. That's what you're here to find. Information on this... apocalypse. Yes, whatever we can. Unfortunately, your patrons appear to be unwilling to speak with me. I wish there was more I could do to help. But maybe there is. You're a visitor to Sharlayan, aren't you? I am, yes. And few will know your face. We should be able to pass you off as a server, if none the wiser. We just finished preparing a few orders. Excuse me. Strike up some friendly conversation while you're setting down the food, and you might just get the answers you're looking for. Not a bad idea. I hate to ask, but what do you think? Of course, if you think it'll help out. That's the spirit. Pay attention now, and I'll explain where each of these dishes needs to go. The tea set is for the chatty group sitting by the water's edge. The omelette is for one of our regulars, a Highlander by the name of Gisla. She's sitting at an outside table with a friend of hers. Behind them, you should see a Makode gentleman. He ordered the oven-baked lobster. Got all that? If you're not sure, just ask and I'll explain again. Good luck. Right. Maybe I should put the weapons away. That might not make me the most convincing server otherwise. The group by the waterside was the tea set, right? Excuse me, everyone. I believe I have your order here. Oh, my tea set. Lovely, thank you. While I'm here, I was wondering, have you heard of a group called Telephoroi? The Telephoroi who? I'm sorry, I've never heard of them or their final days. My friends and I are somewhat uninformed when it comes to current events. Now, if you wanted to hear about the ritual arcane practices of the Sick Vassal era, a common or esoteric, then I'd be happy to talk your ear off. Maybe another time. Right. That was... Gisla. She wanted... I have your omelette here? Finally. 2, 4, 6, 8. Let's dig in. No time to waste. While I'm here, would you mind if I ask you a question? Just if you've heard any news about... I've been hearing word on this Telephoroi group. What? The Telephoroi? Ah, yes, I remember seeing the name in the latest Gazette. It add in some grand claim about the end of days. Same old senseless warmongering. When will these fools grow tired of spilling each other's blood? Oh, best stay out of it, I say. The Forum made the right choice, and I fully support our decision to remain neutral. Which, just leaves... lobster's yours, sir? Urbane banter with a smile. At last, the ever-baked lobster is mine. You have no idea how long I've scrimped and saved and suffered to afford this heavenly dish. Before you begin, sir, I couldn't take a moment of your time, could I? The final days? This is the first I've heard of it. Although that would explain why my friend has been rushed off his feet. It must be a busy time to be a gleaner. A gleaner, sir? You don't know what a gleaner is. They're... collectors of a sort. Travel the world procuring things that we haven't got here in Sharlayan. Priceless books, unusual life specimens, and so forth. So named for those folk who trail off to the reapers in the fields, picking up every grain which was missed. Aye, by all accounts, gleaning is a most meticulous and demanding profession. If these Telephoroi make good on their audacious threats, then many uncatalogued rarities could be lost forever. Why else would the gleaners be buzzing about in such a frenzy? Watch the harbour and you'll see what I mean. They're cutting loads in from the docks all day. It's never been this hectic before. Not like this. Thank you, sir. So, there's been a big uptick in how often they're bringing in supplies? Honestly, I think I've got something. Excuse me? Any trouble with the customers? Were you able to get anyone talking? Well, one man was particularly helpful. Interesting. They seem unaware of the final days, aside from whatever vague news the gazettes are printing. Even Dickon had nothing to offer. He's the best source of gossip in the city. If the Forum does have secret knowledge, then they've done an impressive job of ensuring no one whispers it in the wrong ear. In any case, thank you for playing the part so well. Here, that cup of coffee I promised. Oh, thank you. Let's enjoy our drinks somewhere else, shall we? Maybe behind the peristyle, away from the gossips and their wagging tongues. Right. Suppose it would, make sense you'd maybe not want to be around everyone with her current reputation. Where's this oh, right. This building here. This does certainly look like somewhere a bit quieter. Yes, this should do nicely. Out of the wind and out of sight.
When our father disowned us, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It wasn't until much later that his words began to sink in, that I began to feel the weight of what it meant. Do you remember when the decision was made to come to Sharlayan? Grahas said that the Forum was determined to keep us in the dark, and that Father's venomous performance was part of that strategy, to keep us at arm's length.
Did you hope it was just...
Perhaps it was. Father argued with Grandfather on many occasions, but never with such dismissive contempt. And when he demanded what justifies the sacrifices we make in war, I honestly didn't know what to say. Neither did Alpha know, I know, but never for one moment did I believe we had made the wrong choice. so all I could do was fume silently. It was only afterwards that I realized how childish I had been, how being stubborn and self-righteous must run in the family. If I could have just mustered a civil response, then things might have turned out differently.
Maybe. We could say. Are those?
They must be ferrying goods to Labyrinthos.
Labyrinthos? Care to explain?
A vast complex beneath the island. Sharlayan is famous for archiving knowledge from around the world. Well, that knowledge is not preserved exclusively in dusty tomes and desiccated samples. Our living library, comprised of all manner of flora and fauna, is housed and studied within that underground facility.
Wait, so like a zoo of sorts?
Still, that did seem to be an unusually large shipment. When I lived here, it was rare to even see such cargo transported by boat.
I was hearing
Wait.
about...
Didn't you hear something in the last stand about the gleaners coming and going more than usual?
Yeah,
I think they're the ones we saw manning those boats. And gleaners answer to the Forum. If the appearance of the Telephoroi prompted this sudden burst of activity, then Labyrinthos may hold a clue as to what the Forum is planning.
are we... Can we have a look? Also, it's just occurred to me my volume is still low. Now, let me quickly see if I can fix that. It's supposed to be closer to 40. I just had lowered it a little bit because while I was doing some roulettes earlier, I had a video on in the background. We should tell the others what we've learned about the Gleaners. Go on ahead to Nomenon, and I'll join you in a moment. Master Dickon will want his cups back. Of course. Yes, this is something, isn't it? Somewhere to start an investigation, and I at least would prefer a practical investigation to more reading. I don't dislike reading, but trolling through tomes like this isn't quite my idea of enjoyable reading. The Kryl? Alize and I think we've found something. Welcome back, Sorin. Been for a walk and cleared your head, have you? Alize? Not exactly. We did some impromptu investigating and turned up information on the Gleaners. Right. Well, I was talking to some customers at the last stand, and... It makes sense. The Gleaners take their requests directly from the institutions and bureaucrats, but, as you say, they ultimately answer to the Forum. A sudden and insignificant increase in Gleaner traffic and in cargo. It certainly gives the impression of an overarching plan being put into motion. Let us see what theory we can build from the facts. As Yashtola observed earlier, Nomenon's archives appear to contain no information concerning the final days. Coupled with what Sorin and Alize learned at the last stand, we can be reasonably sure that most Sharlayans know nothing of that particular period of ancient history. Yet my father and his colleagues are not only familiar with the final days, but are also somehow certain that the destruction being perpetrated by the Telephoroi is wholly unlike these apocalyptic events. Moreover, The forum claims to be so occupied by a duty of such pressing importance that they saw fit to unanimously deny Eorzea's request for aid. And now the Gleaners. Official agents of the state have been mobilized on an unprecedented scale. I do not think it a stretch to conclude that the Gleaners' recent activities are in service to the forum's secretive ends. In which case, our next course of action seems obvious. We visit Labyrinthos and assess the situation for ourselves. And, if we're lucky, the Gleaners will be far more receptive to our questions. That's an idea, but... So I'm new to this Labyrinthos, so... What is it down there? Oh, I would hate to spoil the surprise. Right, I guess I'm... going to be surprised. As for myself, there are a few more subjects I should like to research. I may join you later, but feel free to leave behind your borrowed books and be on your way. I'll see to it that each is returned to its proper place. And that would be a great help. Thank you, Rahal. I guess the rest of us are off. Let's head down the stairs over there, and I'll show you where the entrance is. I wonder if it's just I don't do enough talking through today. My jaw doesn't get enough exercise when I start talking on stream. Alice? Ready? The Labyrinthos is not too far out from here, but you may find the path a bit disorientating. I'll take the lead, so stay close. Right. Off we go. It's pleasant here among the trees. But we really should move along. So we do have rather urgent work to do. Now we run. Try to keep up. Right. Keep to the path. Straight ahead. That's the, I can't remember the name of it, but the forum, isn't it? We cross this bridge. NPC escort's only good if they run at max speed, yeah. So, I wouldn't mind if the walking is well matched. Up here. Also, welcome to the stream. Good to see you, Nam. So, I'm assuming that's... Oh. Rostra. Not far now. I'm assuming... I think I can see Mooney lurking on YouTube, but I'm guessing she's maybe busy with work. And if it's not Mooney, hello to whoever's watching on YouTube. Here we are. Through this door and downstairs. You did remember to attune to the shard back there, did you? It will make your life much easier if you need to come back in a hurry. Otherwise, we should keep moving. Right. Down here. I guess... Well, they said underneath, so I guess down the stairs? Here we are. We're all here now, yes? I've taken the liberty of securing permission for our group's descent. Right, everyone onto the lift and down we go. Right. Let's see this Labyrinthos.
Deep beneath the scholar's city shines a false sun within a fabricated sky. In any age exist those who consider the floor an extension of their bookshelves, and this vault's architects surely belonged to that special breed. If the stack grows too high, start a new one. If no room remains, then make more rooms. A simple solution at first, and then bit by bit, a profound transformation. Knowledge, buried beneath knowledge, a growing, creeping labyrinth from which there is no escape.
Wait, this is... It's raining. Underground. I was...
Not what you expected. I must admit, the artifice is very convincing.
That's one word
But
for
I
it.
assure you that we are beneath Sharlayan itself. The breeze you feel, the flowing waters you hear, all created by the hand of man.
I think I'm starting to understand why Sharlayan knowledge is valued the way it is.
The island is volcanic, you see, and once upon a time this great hollow must have been a reservoir for magma.
Right. Been working this... Yeah, I kind of figured that was you, my one viewer on YouTube, Minnie. No worries. Again, you're welcome. You're welcome to the stream.
It was discovered some 400 years ago, at which point it was repurposed as a storage facility for scrolls and samples and such. Renovations have continued, with nigh on no interruption to this day, with the lower levels still undergoing expansion.
Right. So it's just
Aren't
getting
those people
larger?
Gleaners?
Aye, judging by their dress. They are said to work alone as a rule, but 'twould seem that rule is being enthusiastically broken today. It may be as you suspected, that they are engaged in a task apart from the norm.
Let's spread out and get some answers then.
Alright. I'll try not to get too distracted by... Trial? Are you okay?
Did you call to me just now?
Well, a little bit, but...
No. How odd. I must be a bit dizzy from the descent. I'll be fine, I'm sure. Let's get to work, shall we?
Right. Just... don't push yourself if you're feeling unwell. Right. As impressive as it is to see rain on this scale underground, artificially, I can't help but wonder if I chose a bad time to try and start investigating. You don't look like you're doing anything. I started NPCs early in the way. Oh, yeah. I don't remember if I've gotten to a point like that in Star Rail. At least I can't remember it. Yeah. It would be nice for more games to have NPC walking speed be equal to the player's speed. Not faster, not slower, just equal. Excuse me, sir. You want to know what I'm doing? Hauling books, and ore, and fauna. If it needs hauling, I haul it. Every decade or so, they take stock in Labyrinthos. You know, sort and tidy up the inventory. Never seen an operation like this before, though. You just did one a few summers ago, even. And, no warning at all, this mess gets dropped on our laps. Orders from on high. Damned if I know the reason. Could be they're changing the layout, eh? Preparing for the next big expansion. Even without bringing stuff into Labyrinthos, they're reorganizing everything that's already here? Definitely sounds like something's going on. Excuse me, ma'am. I couldn't ask a question, could I? Let me think. The rare seed should be item 1058. Cumin seeds, 1059. Snurvleberry, 1060. Oh, were they 1061? Ah, my head feels like it's stuffed with muckle grass. Way more loads to take out than carry in. Why do all this at once and risk mixing it up? What if someone mistakes the Corfin carrots for Girabanian carrots? What then? Sorry, I'll not distract you. Thinking of our worst NPC AI tactic is when they... Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm trying to remember... I feel there was a game I was playing recently where you have to kind of do an escort, and it's annoying because the enemy won't, the ally won't protect, your NPC friend won't, they won't look after themselves. But I can't remember what it is. I did see a Viva La Dirt League sketch about it recently, though it was, well, kind of on a similar topic. But it was, you have to rescue, they're trying to rescue Greg's sheep, and Greg's an NPC helping out with the quest, but he uses grenades. And because he's trying to help you in the fight, he keeps blowing up the sheep you're trying to rescue and failing the quest. Excuse me, I'm not interrupting anything, am I? You here to help or give me more headaches? Because you don't have the look of a gleaner. I'm in no mood for idle chatter. One of my colleagues was so exhausted he took a tumble and crashed into a pile of crates. Now I have a pack of marmots running loose. Sorry, I'll leave you be to then. No, I'll see if I can find it and share it in the Discord mini after the stream. It is quite a funny one. Crow? Any luck, Sorin? What tales did the Gleaners have to tell? Well, things are definitely sounding out of the ordinary here. I don't think I'm familiar with that particular quest in Skyrim, but yeah, I can imagine. So this grand operation began without warning, and for every item they bring in, they're sending more inventory somewhere else. That would explain the haggard faces I've been seeing. We were right. The form is definitely up to something. They're turning Labyrinthos upside down in the process. So, I guess the question is, why? We would do well to learn more of what specifically the Gleaners are being tasked to do, as well as who has tasked them to do it. If you're game, Sorin, I have an idea. I'm listening. Didn't one of the Gleaners you questioned say something about escaped marmots? Perhaps if you were to help him capture said creatures, he might be inclined towards a more friendly and enlightening conversation. In the meantime, I will turn my charms upon this Gleaner here. We can compare notes afterwards. I'll be hunting. Right. Don't mind us, sir. I guess there's no harm in helping out. Excuse me. You'd mentioned something about missing marmots. Is there any chance I could help? You wish to help me find the marmots? I have nothing suitable to pay you for your services. But if you're offering out of the goodness of your heart, I'd welcome the assistance. Well, just let me know where I need to go. The name is Erenville, friend. Specialist in the collection of live specimens. That said, the capture of these Naxian marmots is a trial I've no desire to repeat. Grizzled mice, they call them. For mercy, there are no other marmot species on it here at present, so there should be no mistaking our little fugitives. If you happen to catch any, stuff them in this sack. Gently, of course. Right. I'll do my best. Where to begin, you wonder? I've not seen any scampering around here, so we'll need to widen our search into the surrounding forest. Be on your guard. There are beasts out there that won't hesitate to prey on a marmot. Or you. Right. I'll be careful. I'll search the trees to the west. The eastern part of the forest is all yours. Good luck. I mean, I wouldn't be too... I'm not too surprised that Skyrim is an unpredictable game at times with how things function. That's That's definitely not a marmot. Right. Is that... Hey there. Am I allowed... Maybe I can just scare it off? More of them. Might as well have heal out this. Get them some experience. Hey there, buddy. Let's get you out of danger. No. Okay, this might be a little more difficult than... Here, but... Where are you? What's that? Just stay still for a little more. And more of them. But that's a... not the best. Hey, into the sack. Don't worry, you'll be safe here. No, no. Alright. Maybe should I have prepared some treats or something? Animals tend to be friendlier when you have food, right? Where is he? There he is. Oh. No running away this time, okay? Get in the sack. Here we go. Only... There's one, at least. Maybe I should have asked Ernville how many escaped in the first place. His friends are gone. Excuse me, Ernville? How did you fare? I tracked down 3 of the pack, which leaves 1 unaccounted for. Oh, just 1? Well, I think I found him. Wasn't the easiest catch, but... there's the odd marmot out. Wait here a moment while I put our friends in a holding cage. Right. Thankfully, the marmots seem to be unharmed. They've held up well in isolation, but it's much too soon to release them into the habitat. It's a good thing we were able to recapture them so swiftly. You have my thanks. No problem. Well, gotta say I'm curious. Why do you need marmots? That's for the Forum to decide. They are the guiding authority behind Labyrinthos, after all. This job was but one small part of this great inventory of theirs. Suitable for consumption and easy to breed. Those were the 2 conditions I was given for the stock I was instructed to procure. I don't know what the Forum has planned for these creatures, but at the very least I doubt they'll be served for dinner today or tomorrow. Cryle? Everyone? There you are, Sorin. Is this the gleaner you mentioned? The one who's looking for lost marmots? He is indeed. Interesting company you keep, friend. Who are you folk, anyway? Okay, a little bit. I haven't had to take medication in a while, but I have been noticed. I don't know. I don't think it's quite the same, but the multivitamins I take, I've started to notice. Like every day I take them, they seem to taste worse. Like I'm tasting less of the flavoring they put in it to make it palatable, and more of the actual, just the straight vitamins and minerals. I'm Cryle of the Students of Baldesian. These others are my associates. The truth be told, the Forum's decisions of late have not sat entirely well with us. That is why we made the descent into Labyrinthos. We hoped that by seeing those decisions put into action, we might more fully understand their reasoning. Wise and practical. Never hurts to try and gain a broader perspective, does it? Anyway, duty calls. Other animals to capture and enclosures to empty. Once again, I'm sorry that I can't offer you more for your services. That's not at all. Just glad to be of help. When you first picked them up, you couldn't taste them. Yeah, it is a little. I suppose maybe it's just like in part your taste getting used to them. Well, he mentioned that he was asked to procure animals that were edible and easy to breed. But otherwise, he doesn't know himself why. So, we've confirmed that the order for this ambitious operation did indeed come directly from the Forum. However, the Gleaners have not been informed of its purpose. I'd say that fits with everything we've heard thus far. Can't believe it has oh chalky. Blech. That's one. Yeah, I can. The antibiotic is like oh, yeah. Those do not sound comfortable. We've also discovered where the operation was begun. The Forum contacted the Gleaners' guild ship and put their people to this great work some 4 days after the Telephoroi made their chilling declaration. As seasoned travellers, the Gleaners keep abreast of news from every corner of the world out of necessity. And thus, I am inclined to trust that their calendar of events is accurate. Altogether, it gives the distinct impression that this undertaking was a sudden and unexpected development. Yet I find it hard to believe that such a comprehensive restructuring of Labyrinthos and its archives could have been planned in so brief a window. Nay, this plan was long in the making. They were but awaiting the right time to put it into effect. And the Telephoroi's declaration was what set it in motion. It seems likely. But let us not leap to conclusions just yet. For the moment, I suggest we conduct a wider investigation of Labyrinthos. The more facilities we visit, the more pieces of the puzzle we stand to find. In that case, how about we head to the Archaon? From there we can reach the lower... Kryle? Are you okay? Kryle, what's wrong? I'm fine. Surely. The sudden descent has left me with a bit of a headache, that's all. Nothing that will stop me from soldiering on. Let's be about it then. At least allow me to take the lead. I'm fairly certain I remember the way to the Archeron. The eerie I think it's kind of supposed to be an uncomfortable noise. We followed a path east, through the forest where you were chasing that mouse, or a marmot, was it? Anyway, 'tis the trolls you need to watch out for. Right. I think I already had a run in one of them. Okay, Aquila. Let's head on. At least the rain stopped and even the night sky. Oh, hold on a moment. I get on top of the rock. A second. Might just be me, but this isn't. I'm assuming Nam's talking about the ringing you get in your noise. The ringing noise. These aren't more stars. I don't think I can recognize our constellations. I guess it's completely artificial sky. For the low one, was it? No. Oh, that was one of the... I don't know if you ever had to do it at... That's the sound you hear at first pitch is going hard if you do. Also... Oh, did I review... In schools in America, did they ever do the thing in... like your physics class where they have the sound box thing? And they kind of have it go from like really low, like make just one consistent noise that travels from a really low frequency to a really high frequency. I absolutely detest that noise. Just that high-pitched whine. Ring test. Ugh. Do not like that. Yeah. Once it hits a certain pitch, I just know it bothers me. Behold the Archeon. As Nomenon serves as Sharlayan's literary archive, so does this structure house the city's wealth of material data. And the architecture too is similar. This building you see is merely the upper entrance, an access point to the vaults carved into the cliffside itself. Within those vast rooms are stored countless samples and specimens, as well as the detailed records which describe them. In a manner of speaking, the Archeon contains a physical history of Sharlayan's unwavering dedication to the accumulation of knowledge. I suppose it is kind of similar. So, we're going inside? Well, we won't learn anything of value standing out here. Let us proceed into the main building and speak with the custodian. Right. There is an ETH right here, so I might quickly make use of it. Can't hurt to attune. Huh. A Barogo. Well, I guess Marshal Matoya was Sharlayan as well, so... Greetings. We are here to peruse the Archeon's vaults. Peruse? You're clearly not gleaners, then. Might I ask your affiliation? We belong to the students of Baldesion, but is that relevant? I was given to believe that the vaults, those open at least to the public, were open to the public. Ordinarily, yes, that would be the case. At present, however, access is restricted. Only persons directly involved in the reorganization efforts are permitted to enter. So, not us. Not us, then. I suppose we had better move along to another facility. This building has a lift which connects to the middle tier, yes? Might we at least make use of that? That service has also been suspended, I'm afraid. For the time being, priority has been given over to the conveyance of inventory. What? So this is as far as we can go? I apologize for the inconvenience. Please come again after our restructuring operation is concluded. By that time it'll be too late. We're so close to getting answers. We need to rethink our approach. Let us step outside for a moment, shall we? Right. Students of Baldesion. So, Y'shtola, were you thinking of anything? We are at an impasse. As we have no other leads, I should like to pursue this one further. But I doubt that our stone-faced custodian will be swayed by heartfelt pleas. We must seek another means to access the lower levels. It is likely that the people in this area are involved in the restructuring in one way or another. If we were to ingratiate ourselves, they might allow us to accompany them on the lift. Let us ask around. Surely someone is in need of a few strong backs to lighten the load. Right. Back to helping out. Let's go look for people in need of a helping hand, Akila. They need help with a box? Hello there. Am I taking the lift? Oh, no. We're just students. They won't let us into the Archeon, even though we found... Actually, we have no idea what it is we found. There's no record of such a creature anywhere. The lift was walking around tranquility, so we fought to donate it to the vaults. What is a little squeal, don't you think? Anyway, I suppose we'll have to take care of it until the Archeon is open again. Right. I'll leave whatever it is to you, I guess. Anyone else? Excuse me, sir. What's that? I'll take you down on the lift with me. Sorry, but not a chance. I've been up and down all day, and only now I finally found a spare moment to rest. Sorry for interrupting. I did see a gleaner fellow heading out the gate here, though. Shouldering a large pack, engaged in some manner of task. Maybe he'll be headed down below after he's done with whatever it is he's doing. Thank you. The gleaners do seem easy enough to get along with, so... Libraries. I'm gonna see if I can't stay away from those. Air poison is not the nicest thing I've had to experience. Is that? Erenville? Quiet. You'll frighten it away. Sorry. Ah, it's you again. I don't mean to be rude, but I'm in the middle of another task. The cloudkin I need to capture is close. Very close. Is there anything I can help with? You wish to help me with this too? You spend your time in unusual ways, my friend. Still, 2 hunters are generally better than 1. Very well. The canal here is a common gathering spot for birds of all kinds, but the one I'm after today is the hornbill. Its feathers are green, and its cry a distinctive call. Single it out, and shoot it with this sleeping dart. Right. It's been a while, but I think I can do this. The effect was short-lived, so I'll lie in wait down by the riverbank to claim our quarry. Be sure to hit the right one. Green feathers, distinctive call. Right. That should be easy enough to remember. That's red. That's not all. That one, right? Whoops. Hopefully that's the right one. Oh, back to work you go. Well, good luck, Mooney. Got it. All right. Deep sleep for the burb. Yep.
A fair shot. Nicely done. Let me truss this one up, and I'll make my way over to you.
All right. It's nice to kind of have some friendly faces around here. Sharlayan's not been too
There you
welcoming
are.
so far.
Any new revelations?
Unfortunately not. Sorry, I've been helping Erenville out again.
So you met with that gleaner again, this time to capture a hornbill.
Indeed.
I understand catching and bringing in creatures from the outside, but what's the point of chasing after ones already here?
They were talking about moving things around, weren't they?
Oh, it's a simple thing, really. Occasionally, we remove specimens no longer needed for study, or those we've had difficulty raising. But we can't simply turn them loose. Safely returning such creatures to their native habitats is another facet of a cleaner's duties.
So, your Hornbill is going back out to the wild?
But not in this case, I'm afraid. I've been asked to bring the bird below.
Below?
The restricted section in the lower levels of Labyrinthos. Open only to a select few researchers handpicked by the Forum.
A restricted section?
The projects down there are the subject of rumor and hearsay. Forbidden magics. Advanced technologies that can never be allowed to fall into outside hands. Even Archons are not privy to the truth. Those who are, the researchers involved in this secretive work, are not permitted to walk freely in the city, and are instead required to live in isolated quarters.
That structured the center?
What could a facility subject to such strict security protocols possibly need with a hornbill? An experiment?
Possibly. I wasn't afforded an explanation. But judging by the requisition list given to me and my colleagues, I doubt it's for any kind of advanced research. I'd be more inclined to believe we were making preparations to migrate to the south. Mericidia or thereabouts.
Migration?
What? Why would you say that?
Much of the flora and fauna we were asked to procure could serve as reliable sources of sustenance. They're comparatively hardy species, too, able to endure harsh climates. And among them are specimens known to be effective in improving soil quality and purifying water.
When you put it that way, migration does sound like a reasonable assumption.
But why?
That's all it is, though. An assumption. Through our tasks, we gleaners glimpse only bits and pieces of the Forum's plans. Our prime concern is that our requisitions, be they living or otherwise, are properly preserved for the knowledge of future generations. Now, I really must be going. I regret that I cannot reward you as you deserve.
You've given me more than enough. Thank you.
Perhaps you might reward us after a fashion then. It is imperative that we reach the lower levels. And seeing as you are already set to descend with your assigned cargo, mayhap we could accompany you as your assistants.
I'm afraid that won't be possible. Once the animals have been prepared for transport, we send them down separately via the lift. I will of course follow after to make my report, but I can hardly pass you off as porters when there's nothing left to carry.
That's fair enough.
Indeed. Pray forget I said anything.
How do you feel about climbing? If you've strength and the courage to brave it, then there is another way down. This path leads to the 33rd facet, a mine shaft excavated during one of our expansions of Labyrinthos. While I cannot guarantee that the passage is safe to traverse, it should provide access to the medial circuit below.
Right.
I never even knew such a place existed. Thank you. This is the perfect solution.
You're quite welcome, but consider yourselves warned. If the going proves too treacherous, you do well to turn back. I bid you good day.
Thank you, Erenville. Well,
Well, turning back is hardly an option, not when we've come this far. Let's go and take a look at this mine shaft.
right. It's hardly been the first mine I've had to explore. Alright, Akil. Let's get going. Keep out of the way there. Pretty large birds. Alright, so this is it. This must be it. The entrance to the mine shaft. It is faint, but I hear something moving within. The creature's home there by the researchers, you think? Well, slavering beasts aside, we will need to watch our footing. We should tighten our straps and such before we continue. Well, I'm as ready as ever for some splunking. Shall we? Assuming everyone's tightened their straps and checked their gear, I'd say we head on in. Given the terrain ahead, though, it might be wise to leave some distance between us. We don't want to be stumbling over each other if it comes to a fight. Take it slow, and don't forget to check your surroundings from time to time. We can meet up again at the other end of the tunnel. Right. This is wide open. I wonder if the intention is for them to use this as storage at some point. Kral did say they were always expanding the place. There's definitely plenty of room here to use for something. Anyway. Look like the others have all made it through safely. So I need to make sure I get through safely as well. There you go, Aquila. Have some more Gissel greens. More fungus. What a large cave. We do have plenty of space here. More of them. Alright. There we go. How much further? Definitely going down now. That looks like the exit. Looks like I'm the last one. Sorry to keep you all waiting. Everyone seems to have made it through without incident. Nothing of consequence, at least. And, as promised, the tunnel has delivered us into the medial circuit. As I recall, this tier is where they keep a wide variety of samples for agricultural production. If Erenville's assumption holds true, that specimens are being collected in preparation for a great migration, then we should see his evidence of such plans in the area's research projects. let's follow the path to the nearest farming facility and see what we see. Right. Now we're out of the cave. Let's get going, Akil. Nearest farming facility. That doesn't look like a farming facility. That's the artificial sun. That certainly doesn't look quite as natural as the rest of it, but it's still impressive that they built one in the first place. 11 types of mandragora. This looks farming related. You need to complete 30 fates in the Collusiate. Ah, yes. Get on the fate grind. I need to get back to Joseph and resume my fate grinding for Shadowbringers. Aha! Now I know where we are. This is Merrill Agronomics. Labyrinthos is host to a wide variety of vegetation, which allows us to conduct studies on the cultivation methods utilized in foreign lands. And it is this facility which coordinates and oversees those efforts. The fruits of their research go to feed their Labyrinthos colleagues. Oh, so I hear. More notable successes might make it to the Agora. Food so exotic you'd be hard-pressed to guess their origin, let alone how they might taste. Indeed, mystery vegetables without a name, only a list of nutritional benefits scribbled on a card. I see no gleaners hereabouts, yet these workers seem to share that same sense of urgency. It is possible they know something of the Forum's plans and their underlying motivations. Worth looking into, wouldn't you say? Right. Well, I guess we're back to asking around. See what you can coax from the workers. The rest of us will do the same or cast about for useful clues. Right, hello, sir. Hello there. We weren't expecting visitors. Not with used to the lift being restricted. How did you make it down here, anyway? Well, that's, the mine shaft, you say? Well, you're a much hardier soul than I. Under normal circumstances, I'd reward such tenacity with a guided tour of the fields. I'm afraid the Forum has us filling order lists a mile long. Massive yet detailed requests. Literal wagon loads of crop samples and hardly any time to put them together. When I first heard of this grand reorganization, I assumed we would be shuffling around old stock to make room for the new. Then came the orders for ridiculous quantities of seeds we've already thoroughly researched. Passing strange, eh? I pressed for an explanation and was met with vague assurances that all would be revealed in due course. Not the most satisfying answer. Right. Well, thank you, sir. That feels to line up with Aaronville's thoughts that it looks like a migration. If they're looking for large quantities of seeds that they're already sure about. Excuse me. I've ought to be taken below. More than I can carry and then some. Most of our stock is sent off via the cargo lift, but some has been earmarked for aerial transport. Hence the stack of crates atop that hill over there. Oh god, hauling that lot up the slope was a job and a half. Right, I'll let you have a break then. Hill up there, maybe? I suppose it's probably easier for an airship to dock somewhere with a bit of elevation. Excuse me. What crops are we raising? Well, as you can see, this one is a variety of grape. Only needs a good source of sunlight to grow, and the conditions here are nothing short of perfect. Hardly surprising, given that it's native to a particular locale in the very place upon which Labyrinthos was modelled, a region in the south of Ilsabard. It boasts remarkable habitat diversity, allowing for myriad flora and fauna to thrive. The chilly peaks in the north give way to swaths of temperate plains, which in turn transition into a hot, humid coastline. Such bountiful territory is ever contested, as you might expect. It used to be called Corvos before the Imperials renamed it Locus Amoenus. Forum saw it not as a prize, however, but as a researcher's ideal environment, one whose climates we strove to recreate within the confines of Labyrinthos. It's since provided a rich foundation for countless experiments and cultivation. Thank you. Let's talk a bit more about Labyrinthos itself, but not really anything about the current situation. You sure? The stack of crates on the hill is going below. That sounds promising. I'll gather the others and join you there. Right. I guess I'll go and investigate it myself. More hornets. I don't like the hornets. Right. That is a fair few. Carrying them up that hill must have been annoying. Common seeds and saplings, reports. I can't really make heads or tails of, but those are different. I've never seen flowers like this before.
Hard to look away, isn't it?
Oh.
But they're
Hello.
more than pretty flowers. Heart blooms are attuned to ambient emotion.
Heart blooms? What do you mean by that? Attuned to emotion?
You don't seem convinced, but believe me, it's true. This ashen grey, for instance, it mirrors the anxiety and urgency of those working nearby as they rush to fulfill sudden orders. Intense feelings like those spur the petals to change colour. Bright glowing hues in the presence of joy, dark subdued shades for frustration or despair. Yet even with the collected wisdom of Sharlayan at our disposal, we've yet to identify the underlying principle of this empathic effect. And there are other mysteries besides. Although the flower is extraordinarily long-lived, its low reproductive rate has made it difficult to find younger populations growing in the wild. With too few sightings to map its distribution, and no closely related species to track, we've been unable to pinpoint its land of origin. To further complicate matters, every culture, even dimly aware of its existence, has given it a different name and mythos. Our attempts to study it via the historical record have been an exercise in frustration. As an avid botanist myself, I should one day like to unravel the Heartbloom's secrets. But I'm afraid other duties must take precedence. I will leave you to your thoughts.
Thank you for your time. It's certainly not what I was expecting from flower. Everyone,
Have you learned aught of interest?
Bits and pieces.
A flower that reacts to one's feelings? Strange. I must say, I have never heard of such a thing.
This is all very fascinating. But as it stands, we failed to gain any significant insight into the Forum's undertaking.
Indeed. While there is certainly enough activity to support Erenville's supposition that a priority has been placed on improving food production, unfortunately for our investigation, these workers were never informed as to how their duties serve the master plan.
If only we could interrogate the Forum members directly.
Would that work even if we could?
Isn't that the entrance to the Archaean?
That's Erenville, isn't it?
Look, there. I think that's Erenville.
Yeah.
A little difficult to tell from here, but I think you're right. He did say he was coming down to make his report.
Erenville receives his orders from the Forum. Would it not follow, then, that the superior to whom he reports is a Forum member? Or at least a close associate?
I suppose it would.
You mean to eavesdrop on their conversation? What of the risks?
Ours alone to bear. We won't interfere with Erenville's work, nor will he be implicated as an accomplice. If you're not comfortable taking part, I can do this alone.
Nay. I said myself that I wished to know Father's intentions. And no answers will be forthcoming should we simply ask nicely.
We can apologize later, should it come to it. Right now, we need every crumb of information we can get our hands on. Consequences be damned.
It might be best if you came along as well. In fact, we should all...
I won't... Ryle? Everything okay over there?
Cryle?
Oh, yes. That certainly sounds like a plan.
Is she okay?
I'm glad you agree.
Quickly! Erenville is on the move. We need to get closer before we lose him.
Right.
Almost. I can almost reach you.
Well, something's wrong that she's not telling us. I don't think this is just dizziness from the descent. You sure? Akila, would you get off, Cryle? You're being a little rude, I think. Is Cryle still feeling unwell? I've never seen her so distracted. I keep an eye on her, but keep moving too. We cannot let our quarry slip away. Of course. Akila, would you move? Don't stand on top of our friends. Okay, because that is... Yeah, it does look like Cryle is going to be joining as kind of a frontline Scion, doesn't she? In Dawntrail. Erenville was headed westwards along the path outside the Archaeon. Oh, we can still catch him. Right. Let's take a wee hop down. Did we lose him? Is everything okay? Hold a moment. I have an idea. If memory serves, that colossal wall-like structure is Logisticon Beta, one of Labyrinthos' climate-controlled centers. It should have its own lifts, with which one could access the upper or lower tiers. Aye. If I were an agent of the Forum, it would make for a convenient meeting place. But even if we happen to find Erenville in the company of said agent, we cannot expect them to reveal issues of importance as we nonchalantly stroll past. Right. So, what's your plan? Nay, we shall have to remain undetected. If only Graha and his vanish spell were here. Oh, but there are other ways of turning invisible. Y'shtola? Hippity hop, my little toads. Goodness! Unaccustomed to transfiguration. Worry not, it will wear off with the passage of time. I suggest you and your green companions hop along and catch up with Erenville. Should you feel the magic's fading, return to me, and I will refresh the enchantment. And what am I to do in the meantime? Wait here with me. In your current state of mind, you'd be as likely to leap into the jaws of a predator as you would learn anything of note. Poor Cry. Which reminds me, where are the creatures hereabouts? In that form, you're essentially defenseless. You've changed into a toad. You must remain transfigured in order to progress with quest objectives. Alfie Toad and Ollie Toad are now accompanying you. I feel Akila is gonna tip them off that we're not normal toads. I do like how, depending on your character's height and when you're transfigured and stuff in Final Fantasy XIV, like it does affect the camera height. Because I feel the camera height can make a big difference in making you feel that little bit shorter. Wrong simulator. Oh, Luncheon Toads are on the hunt list I have. Discuss your surroundings. Alfie Toad attempts and fails to shake his head, but he nevertheless understands he's telling you this is the wrong way. This looks like first person. First person frog. The Lalafell perspective on the world. Yeah, nothing conspicuous about a trio of toads followed by a chocobo. I think a trio of... From what I've never seen frogs move in groups. Anytime I've seen a frog in the wild, it's always been alone.
I trust you will find your compensation to be more than satisfactory. We wish to make clear that we are pleased with the efficiency and thoroughness of your work. So much so that we have come bearing new tasks in need of your competent hand.
Another lengthy list. If I may speak frankly, the Gleaners have been pushed to the point of collapse by your unending demands. We are not familiars to be exploited. We are Sharlayan scholars, and we deserve an explanation for this unseemly treatment. What warrants such urgency?
Looks like we arrived at a good time.
In an age long past, Sharlayan was charged with a momentous duty. And now that word of the final days hangs heavy in the air, the time has come for us to fulfill that charge. I can say no more, but I promise you this. All will be revealed in due course. And when it has, you will understand that your toil was in service to the greatest good.
So, it is to do with the final
Then
days.
I will do your bidding. For now. But unless you wish the Gleaners to rise up in protest, I advise you to offer tangible improvements for our working conditions. Your promised revelation does nothing to address present circumstances.
A fair point. Your concerns will be conveyed to the Forum.
Just some frogs. Don't mind us. Just frog.
I hope that was informative. You may consider my debt to you repaid in full.
But
while I do have my reservations about the Forum, I want to believe that they have our best interests at heart. Which is why I'm reassured that you're busy sniffing out the truth of things. We can ill afford to place all our eggs in one basket, this master plan of theirs, without first understanding the risks involved.
thank you.
Wait! How did you know it was us?
If you mean to impersonate a toad, try studying the real thing. And don't try to fool an expert.
He has a point there. Animals are kind of his job. At least it doesn't seem like the people he was meeting have the same insight. Huh. I suppose we should have known that a gleaner who specializes in animal procurement would not be so easily deceived. Yet he seemed inclined to put his trust in us all the same. More importantly, perhaps, we've discovered a new piece of the puzzle. This momentous duty the Forum agent mentioned. Sharlayan has been called to action, and the Telephoroi's declaration was the catalyst. Whatever charge it is they hope to fulfill, they deem it of sufficient import to disrupt all of Labyrinthos, not to mention ignore Eorzea's request for aid. Right, so we should maybe start heading back? Duty could warrant the direct involvement of the Forum and the commitment of all its resources. Judging by what we just heard, none of the Gleaners were offered any kind of explanation. At this point, it just seems abundantly clear that we'll learn nothing now by pressing further. We should head back to Y'shtola and Kral for the moment. See what they think of this. Right. Well, I found something new. I wonder if the time we've spent here, how the production of those warding scales is going on in Thavnair. I'm all for gathering information like this, but... 'I'm worried about Ndana. we can leave her and the others trapped there in that tower. Y'shtola? Where's Kryle? Welcome back. I trust you found Erenville then. We did. Suppose we learned a couple of things. Interesting. I had a feeling you would learn something important, even if that something was simply a confirmation that no one knows much of anything. We should share this with Kryle, then discuss how we'd like to proceed. Assuming we find her back at the farm. She was still behaving oddly, so I bade her return and rest there. Perhaps not the best decision in hindsight. Would you mind checking near those flowers she was so entranced by? The rest of us can survey the more distant areas, just in case she decided to wander. Right. She did seem... yeah, rather invested in the... Art Gloom, was it called? I do hope she hasn't been pushing herself. She's been working here trying to figure stuff out in Sharlayan for a while now. Pretty much as soon as the Telephoroi showed up. Kryle? Kryle? Is everything okay?
For you. The spell will keep it from wilting. She said you would need it for the journey ahead.
She said? You don't mean...
Will you speak with her now? I cannot hope to match Minfilia's clarity, of course, but...
You can... Are you sure? I guess she is.
Thank you.
Eidolon?
Do not worry. She has lent me her body for only a moment. Just as I could not save the first from the flood of light, it has become arduous for me to interact with the physical world without assistance. Though I might converse with you for a time, the incorporeal form I assumed on the ship would be incapable of casting even the simplest enchantment.
You've ruined that week?
It is in the depths of the ethereal sea, the place to which all life returns, where my influence is greatest. After Minfilia's sacrifice on the first, it was to the sea, here in the source, where I ferried her soul. I wished that gentle spirit to find rest in the world she loved so well.
You brought her back here?
Her, and another who may yet have a part to play, though that will depend on you.
Lover?
Take the flower. Walk free, for you are free to go where you wish, to believe what you will. That bloom will be your guide, test and proof of your conviction. In darkness, seek joy. Surrender not to sadness, and see beyond despair. Walk free, and bear the light for others to follow. Together, raise it aloft and let it shine till the end, blinding and radiant.
Trial?
That was all too brief. Already she seems so far away.
Are you okay?
My apologies if I startled you. Ever since we began our descent into Labyrinthos, I had sensed another's will, straining to reach out. Even with my particular talents, though, I was unable to make a connection at first. So weak and tenuous it was. Once I took hold of that wispy thread. Imagine my surprise to discover it was Heidelin herself. Needless to say, it seemed wise to learn what we could before letting go. Her answers were more cryptic than I would have liked, but at least she left us with a guide of sorts, that unusual flower.
Think you know what she means?
Yes, we are definitely making progress.
Right.
You can't be serious! We've done nothing wrong!
Alice? That sounds like trouble. That's... Fortuno.
Master Fortuno? What business has the Forum with us?
Obstruction and suppression, apparently.
Mistress Baldessian, our records show you facilitated the Scions' entrance into Sharlayan by claiming them as assistants for your organization. We are aware of your investigations. After alerting the major institutions to the presence of potential troublemakers, we received word from an Archean custodian. A group operating under the auspices of the students, skulking about Labyrinthos and engaging in clandestine behavior.
Ghost? Police would be fairly new.
Clandestine? We may not have entered Sharlayan as Scions, but we did naught to conceal our identities. Our only purpose in this city is to seek the truth. I can think of no reason why our actions should warrant the Forum's intervention.
'Tis not our way to discourage the pursuit of knowledge, but the timing of such pursuits must be considered, not to mention their potential impact. With the world in chaos, we, the true caretakers of wisdom, have committed ourselves to an undertaking that demands the utmost discretion. And we will not risk its success by turning a blind eye to disruptive foreign elements in our midst.
What then is to be our fate? Will you put us on a ship back to Eorzea?
The Forum will convene to examine your case. The results of said inquiry will determine your future in this city. As for your absent companion, he has already been detained.
Grah?
Grah! But why? Is reading a crime now, too?
Reading is encouraged, celebrated even. Not, however, of the volumes shelved in the restricted section of the library.
Restricted?
Refusing to comply will only make matters worse. Let us instead treat this as an opportunity to open a dialogue with the Forum.
Right.
Silence is often one's best defense. I would advise against prolonging the proceedings with frivolous discourse. But enough. This is not the place for debate. The rostra await.
was about to sneeze for a moment there. This is the monster. I guess this is the entirety of the forum.
Forgive me. I was careless.
We would have been detained regardless. This way, at least, we managed to stay together. I trust your time within the Forbidden Archives was well spent.
The forum will come to order. This inquiry is now in session. As Speaker-elect, I will be presiding over the day's proceedings. Master Fortuner, would you be so kind as to restate the matter which compelled you to summon your colleagues with such urgency?
Fortuner is the one who summons.
As you are all aware, we recently denied Eorzea's request for Sharlayan assistance. Since then, certain individuals dissatisfied with our decision have taken it upon themselves to interfere with our work.
We're not trying to interfere with anything.
They entered our nation masquerading as associates of the students of Baldessian. But these malcontents are better known as the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. These militants wield influence with both the Eorzean and Eastern alliances, and are inextricably involved with the crises presently afflicting the world at large. Loose in our city, these warmongers sought to meddle with and expose matters of state secret. What are they, if not a dire threat to be expelled?
You have tarnished the good name of the students. Galuf would be ashamed.
Well.
Galuf Baldessian was never one to forsake his fellow man. Even if this nation closed every door and retreated from the world, he would have found a way to help the Scions, help every soul of this star fight back against the coming doom.
A terrible enemy stands poised to lay waste to all we hold dear. In the face of such madness, Eorzea reached out to Sharlayan, a respected ally, in the hopes of forming a united front. Was your curt dismissal truly the best you could offer? Or are you so preoccupied with your momentous duty of an age long past that even the end of the world is unworthy of your attention?
Whence came this revelation?
From the mouth of a forum member within fortuitous earshot.
Right.
Then it seems your findings support my own.
The fist clench, yep.
The reason I visited the restricted shelves was to study records of the forum's policy-making process. To better understand the historical trends underlying their most major decisions. At first glance, the positions of neutrality in war and the accumulation of knowledge above all else appear constant and consistent, the unchanging pillars of Sharlayan society. And once upon a time, I might have left it at that. These days, however, I am more attuned to the subtleties of governance, and so I noticed something odd.
Uh-huh. Fine.
From a particular point in time, the purpose of these policies shifted. No longer was knowledge preserved for the benefit of society. Rather, society was to be gradually reshaped to ensure the preservation of knowledge. The most conspicuous and telling change was the one which befell Labyrinthos. Once little more than an oversized storehouse, an enormous allocation of funds saw it transformed into an advanced research and archival facility. I also discovered a fascinating account on the finances of our Dravanian colony. The settlement attracted students from far and wide, and the connections and tuition fees thus acquired were funneled into further improvements for the archives. Now, there is no question that our nation's progress is tied to the acquisition of wisdom. Nevertheless, the vast resources diverted for this purpose borders on the obscene. But returning to the matter of when, our change in course appears to have been made some 270 years ago.
Did something...
The very same period when Sharlayan scholars in the hinterlands began a formal study of the ethereal sea.
That... You mean...
You
the
found
anti-tower?
something, did you not? And whatever it was, gave rise to your oh-so-important duty.
Mind your tongue, Archon. If you had seen...
What?
Yes. We are bound by a duty we cannot ignore. Knowing this, what would you have us do? Abandon our vital work and join you on the field of battle? We will never choose the way of the sword. We will fulfill our mission, not through strife and bloodshed, but survival. Come what may, we shall live on. We must.
Do as you must, then. But we Scions will fight until the heavens fall, until our last breath.
Such misguided zeal.
If you want us to understand, you'll have to explain. Why go this far?
Father, Master Fortuno, I fail to understand the stance you have elected to take. But by the same token, I have yet to find a compelling argument to counter the challenge you put to us in Gridania. Still, in the midst of my uncertainty, I must trust in myself to do what is right, as others have chosen to trust in me. So I will continue, as I always have, weighing the consequences of my every action, and allowing my hope for the future to inform my decisions.
That's quite enough. Have you all forgotten the reason for this assembly?
Skolok Monteshane. He's the head of the Studium and an old friend of my grandfather's.
Right.
Honestly, every discussion devolves into some interminable debate. Terrible habit. Let's return to the topic at hand,
Right.
By their own admission, these Scions have resolved to fight alongside the Eorzean nations against the doom which swift approaches.
Right.
But there exists no evidence of an attempt to incite our citizens to do the same. Furthermore, while our decision may well have been the correct one, we cannot simply bull our way through these disagreements without inviting doubts or objections.
Yeah. Someone seems to
Put
understand.
yourselves in their place. Who among you would leave a tome unopened if an elder forbid you read it with no reason given? No. If we're to quell further discontent, then we must conclude this matter with a fair and even hand.
Order! We will have order! Master Montaigne raises some valid points. Keeping such concerns in mind, I propose we enforce the following measures. Until further notice, the students of Baldessian are to cease any and all activities within the domain of Sharlayan. You will also refrain from any further investigation into the Forum's decisions and duties. Failure to comply with these restrictions will result in the immediate expulsion of your Scion associates. Let us put this judgment to a vote. All in favor, raise your hand.
Is this a good conclusion for us, or...
I count 51 for and 48 against. The proposal is passed.
That's...
Students, Scions, you have heard the Forum's judgment. Pray abide by it, or face the consequences.
Right.
Honored members, I thank you for your time. This inquiry is concluded.
That could have gone worse, right? I feel if nothing else, we learned more than we knew before. It is nice that Graha, like, they do acknowledge he was the leader of a country for, effectively, for near on a century. So, without taking away from the fact he's still a fanboy at heart. You may encounter some raised eyebrows, but do continue to claim the students as your sponsor whensoever the need arises. I believe in the guiding principles of the Scions, and I know my grandfather would have as well. So, that was... well, at least we've been allowed to remain in the city. And our endless investigations have not been in vain. For now, we now know that this mysterious duty of theirs began with whatever the Forum discovered in the Ethereal Sea. With our freedom so sorely curtailed, however, we will struggle to learn aught more of substance here in Sharlayan. So... guess we return to the Annex and discuss plans? The overall picture has grown clearer, yes, but that's in spite of the Forum being so maddeningly vague about this duty of theirs. Why are they so reluctant to explain their actions in plain words? Survival, come what may. His father's work so vital it takes precedence over his own family? Alphino? Alice? It is you! When I heard you'd been dragged before the Forum, I came as swiftly as I could. I'm so very glad they allowed you to stay. Could this be... Mother? Hello. Emelian's Levier, at your service. And you fine people must be the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. How lovely it is to finally meet you. A pleasure. Mother, please. We don't wish to make things difficult for you. If word reaches father that you are here... Oh, bother that. Am I to be chastised for speaking with my own children? I am well aware that you and Master Folchino are not on the best of terms at the moment, but I've been absolutely desperate to see my darlings again. You will come by the house, won't you? I have gifts waiting. Timing couldn't be better. As matters stand, we shan't be going anywhere until we discuss matters with Thancred's group and reconsider our options. Go. Visit your home. We will be back at the Annex when you are ready to rejoin us. I'm not sure we... Sorin, what do you think? You're asking me? Sorin? D. Sorin Sherwood? Yes? What a splendid day this has turned out to be. Champion of Eorzea, I insist that you join us. Right. I guess... we're all going. But we must be quick about it. Not for my own benefit, but should my husband return and find you enjoying our hospitality, the servants will be made to suffer the consequences. Sorin, if you would be so kind as to escort my children to the estate. Right. And then she was gone, wait for any opportunity to protest. Did you want to protest, Alice? Indeed, the matter is settled. Enjoy yourselves, Geoffrey. Never found a warrior like you. No, have you seen the? Is it the Benny G's animation of? Because Ameliance is one of the custom deliveries ones. Once you've maxed out, you're allowed to give Ameliance different glamours. And just a little little animation of Fortuno coming home and finding Ameliance sitting dressed up as a Tonberry. So you should look it up when you've got a moment, Winnie. I think it's only like 15 seconds long. So, should we get going? I apologize. My mother is not one to take no for an answer. Still, I am glad, relieved even, to see her in such high spirits. What say you, Sorin? Though it seems we shall have little enough time to enjoy it, will you accompany us on our visit home? Of course. I don't think I have much of a say in the matter either. Fine. If we're going, then let's get it over with. Be sure to stay in the entrance hall. No peeking into our private chambers, thank you very much. Of course. Why ever not? Your room is always perfectly neat and tidy. Everyone has things they'd rather keep to themselves, don't they? Cherished mementos you couldn't bring yourself to throw away. Childhood toys. I mean, never mind. The Levier estate is that way. Straight down the stairs. Come on. Right. That's the huge building, isn't it? I remember passing it by when Kyle was giving me the tour. When Alice and I were little, this bridge was as far as we were permitted to wander alone. I say alone, but my mother or servant was always somewhere nearby, keeping a watchful eye. And now look at us. Traveling to different continents, different worlds even. As children, Alphino and I would often wait here for our father to come home from work. Must have been a day when his meetings ran long, as I remember growing restless and leaning out over the railing to watch the water rush by. Father, of course, arrived at that exact moment, came pounding down the path in a panic, crying out my name. What do they have to say at this little square? Oh, yes. This is where I first practiced magic on an actual person. Alice had fallen, you see, and scraped her knee quite badly. So I tried casting a simple restorative spell I had only just learned. How she smiled when her wound closed. with joy and relief. That was, I believe, the very moment I chose the healing arts as the main subject of my studies. That's how it started. I used to come here all the time with grandfather. In summer I would dip my hands and feet in the fountain and splash about. Not Alphino, though. Even back then he wasn't very fond of playing in water. He'd make any excuse to avoid it. Which would explain how I came to swim like an orc, and he sink like a stone. No response, Alphino? We shouldn't delay. Mrs. Levier? And here you are at last. Please, do come in.
Welcome home, my lady.
This is even more impressive inside. Alphino and Alize really grew up here? Alphino is probably glad Estinian's not seeing this.
What? What are you gawping at?
Sorry, just the... You have a nice house. House of Levier in all its grandeur. It's certainly impressive in here.
Oh, gods, please don't. It makes me feel like a spoiled princess.
Apologies.
Lord Fortuneau is not to hear of this visit. And I should also like the children to have their gifts, ere my husband makes his return.
As you wish, my lady.
I just noticed the Rogadin servant. That's one of the same...
Mistress Alice, if you'd accompany me upstairs.
The Rogadin servant, that's one of the same ones who's escorting Alize back in A Realm Reborn, isn't he?
We shan't be long.
Right. I'll, wait here, I guess.
The twins have been sending letters home from time to time, recounting their latest adventures. I am sure they withhold certain details, of course, if only to keep me from worrying.
You mentioned about sending letters.
Yet a mother worries all the same. In the early days especially, I tried to support them as best I could, sending the Scions coin and other such donations.
Thank you.
Fortunately, they have found the strength to overcome adversity time and time again. Their words grow more confident with every letter, their depictions more vivid. The triumphs and defeats, the joys and sorrows. 'Tis clear that they have come to find value in every experience.
Even in the time I know them, they've certainly grown.
But of those they treasure most, it would seem that meeting you might be the most impactful. Why, since that fateful day, I do believe there has not been a single missive in which you were not mentioned by name.
Right. I hope I can live up to the reputation. They really think that highly of me?
'Tis plain they care for you, and I am glad they have such a steadfast companion watching over them. Under normal circumstances, I would offer you tea, but alas, these are anything but. In any event, why don't you keep me company whilst we await my children's return? Perhaps you might regale me with a tale or two of your exploits.
I can certainly try. It might not be as eloquent as Alphino's telling of them.
When you mentioned gifts, I wasn't sure what to expect. Mother,
Oh, look how well it fits you. And the style is to your liking?
It's perfect. Exactly what I would have chosen. But please, tell me you had something different made for Alphino.
Naturally. You are hardly little children anymore. And while I shall miss dressing you in those precious matching outfits, I must respect the individuals you have grown to become. See for yourself.
You look for both of them.
Thank you for the splendid clothes, Mother. Stylish, comfortable, and eminently practical.
I am so glad you like them. They are, however, missing one final touch.
If you'd allow me, Master Alphino.
Those are...
Wait. Are these...
A sage's tools of the trade. They belonged to your father.
I've not seen many sages about, but...
Though he may as well be chained to his desk these days, as a student he was often called upon to venture into the field. He wielded those armaments, both to heal and to harm in no few battles. None so fierce as those you two have braved, perhaps, but battles nonetheless.
There was a time he was in battle himself.
Thus did I pull them out of storage, to show you that he was not always the man who stands in vehement opposition to you now. And also because it would be a terrible waste of ridiculously expensive House Leveilleur commissioned artistry.
Soul crystal.
I am told these devices are quite difficult to master, but someone of your extensive experience should soon have them darting about with grace and aplomb. May the wisdom in that crystal serve you well. And please, try to find common ground with your father, that you might come and go without need for this awful subterfuge.
We will, Mother. I promise.
My final gifts to you, before you run off, are an observation and a suggestion. Firstly, Fortunato has ever been a serious man, but it was only after you were born that he truly lost himself in his work. I may not know the Forum's inner workings, but I know your father's. The timing of that change in him holds some significance. Secondly, do not seek to best your father with words. Far better that you simply show him. Let him discover the merit of your actions, after they cannot be undone.
That's one way to go about it.
Oh, Mother.
We shall take your wisdom to heart. Thank you again for these gifts, and farewell for now.
Safe travels, my children. Eat well, stay warm, and keep your friends close.
Thank you. Let's see, they got that chance for everything with their father. I needed something positive during this trip. And that was that. Only the gods know when we'll be back again. Thank you for indulging Mother's request. I can see it meant a lot to her, and I shall refrain from inquiring as to the content of your private conversation. Our visit was all too brief. For now, however, it will have to suffice. As will these tokens of home that we carry with us. These gifts to help us remember who we are and whence we came. But enough sentimentality. Let us return to the annex and rejoin our companions. Right. We've still got to figure out what our next step is. Enjoyed your time with Telephoroi, I hope. I would ask how the twins fared, but their new outfits tell the tale. I only hope we can help them to reconcile with their father. They might return home one day with their heads held high. In the meantime, we edge ever closer to the secret the Forum strives to hide. And the flower bequeathed to you by Heidel is sure to guide us going forward. I'm confident that once we've heard your report from Thavnair, we'll be well equipped to plot out our next move. Right. Well, I guess while we're all together now, shall we? Since there's been progress in both investigations, shall we share the findings from our respective locales? Right. No better time for it. Work has been on and off lately. Yeah, I feel I'm getting that feeling from how you've been chatting, Money.
Your time in Thavnair has certainly been eventful. In my opinion, carrying out Vitra's request and assaulting the Tower of Zot should be our highest priority.
Oh, yeah, unfortunately you did miss the Amelians hangout.
I agree. While I still have questions concerning the Forum and their grand undertaking, we have all but exhausted our avenues of investigation.
Now we have these warding scales. Maybe more directly investigating the Telephoroi is our best bet.
Simply pressing them any harder on the subject will almost certainly result in our expulsion. Therefore, I suggest we explore the ethereal sea connection by way of a letter to Master Montoya, then make our way to Thavnair.
I wonder, even with the protection these talismans afford us, what can we hope to achieve once inside the tower? According to Orenvold and Fodola's report, they were unable to free the Emolja. Worse, their attempts triggered the tower's defenses, which led to a summoning of Luna Ifrit.
What does it tell us that the spies even have such defenses? Simply pulling a prisoner from the wall is fatal, thus the direct approach is doomed to failure from the outset. Any further measures to dissuade such actions seem unnecessary.
So if it has defenses like that, it must mean there's some weakness they're trying to protect.
Unless, of course, there is a way to free the prisoners without killing them. Then it stands to reason that any intruders will be met with overwhelming force.
Yeah, but yeah, I assume it is the reason they have the same outfit.
The towers appeared throughout the world in but the twinkling of an eye. 'Twas by magical means these structures were raised, I surmise. A spire thus conjured must needs be maintained. And I suspect an arcane catalyst, some manner of core, doth lie hidden within.
So, if we can find this core...
Destroy the core, and the tower ceaseth to be, thus liberating the captives without harm.
So we can hope. And I would prefer to enter the tower with a working theory than with no plan at all.
Assuming Ishtola's reasoning is correct, the chances of the defenses remaining dormant are small to none. Any primals will have to be dealt with, and defeating one will likely only lead to the summoning of another. Our every victory will only compound the prisoner's suffering.
So we need to be quick about it.
May we not then divide our forces? Those proficient in healing will focus on sustaining the captives. That duty can be covered by Urianger, Kryl, Yostola, and myself. The remaining Scions will proceed with the search for the core. Admittedly, this strategy puts both parties at greater risk, but it should bolster our chances of saving the Arcosodra by a considerable margin.
Sure, yeah, I feel definitely if you're going to call Alice, you can't call Alice out on healing without and not bring up Alphino. I'm kind of curious. Like, does Alice point that out? Like, if you use her as the example? But yeah, no, sorry, even if I'm curious about the response, it's not the one Sorin would suggest. Alphino specializes in healing as well, right?
If you're to fight primals, then you'd best have at least one healer with you.
I suppose that's a point.
And I am more than happy to fulfill that role. I found wielding a sage's armament to be rather intuitive, and look forward to testing them against a more challenging foe.
We don't call that a healer, we call that a necromancer. What's the D&D post I saw? That a necromancer is just a healer who's a little bit late.
It seems we have a plan. All that remains is to carry it out. I will inform Rads at Han of our movements, so let us make our preparations and regroup near the tower.
Right.
The military post in what's left of the Hamsa hatchery should serve as a convenient staging point.
That sounds perfect. And remember, the experimental aetherite at the confluence is there for those who need it, so there's no excuse for being late.
Being late wouldn't be an issue. Okay, that's what you meant by... I just remember I seen it in like one of the YouTube shorts, kind of all about D&D posts on Reddit. It's just kind of just a... Sorry, sir, you're too late. He's already dead. Cracks knuckles. I didn't get my medical license revoked for nothing. Back to Thavnair then. You tend to fall into the overly prepared. Your destination is currently congested. Oh. Okay. Huh. What's going on in Thavnair? There we go. I tend to... I don't know if I overly prepare, but I tend to... I always worry about being late a lot, but because I kind of worry about it to the point where I'm very rarely actually late for things. Ooh. I think except my streaming, because I think that kind of falls into the category of streaming as something I do for my own enjoyment. So it's not as easy for me to keep myself too strict with that. I think if I start leaning towards being too strict with, starting at exactly 7, the more pressure I put on myself, I'll start losing the sense of fun I have in it. there's like a hunt train or like just a really big hunt train or something going on in Thavnair. It's been quite a while since I've seen a location like congestion message. It is. No sneaking up this time. Hold on a little longer, Nadana. Dad, I'm ready, but I still have an hour until I go out, so you end up... Yeah. That's something that would tend to happen to me. You can try and, like, avoid doing anything in particular for a while. You just get stuck in on standby mode. Ah, a friend of Eorzea. We've been expecting you. You and yours will lead the mission into the tower, I'm told. The warding scales will be delivered soon. Till then, please stand by at the boat we have readied. When your fellows arrive, I will direct them to join you. We pray for your safety and success. Thank you. Right. I wasn't sure if I'd make it to the first dungeon this stream, but I guess we are. Looking at the time, I think we can do the dungeon, but I'll have to finish up probably soon after. This is the future of Aether I travel. I think I'll stick to boats. Hi. No warning, however, I'm glad I could have prepared me for that. On account of which we are a little late. But fighting fit. Mostly. You all got some armor lassie in you? Varshan. Or... we still call him Varshan in this form? My friends, permit me to thank you for accepting this mission. You must be... we should still call you Varshan, I suppose. Indeed, it would not do to confuse our soldiers. Right, so I'm right on that. Very well then. For our part, we are humbled that you should see fit to entrust us with your warding skills. Please convey as much to His Excellency. One for each of you. Please, accept them with my blessings. Our thanks. With these, we can go anywhere. Those are the blessings of light can go. Not only for this operation either, but all the ones to come. We could finally break your monopoly on primals. Which is a Sorin? I don't know if there's a Sorin response here. Not the middle one, I don't think. I don't know how much of a joking tone it's kind of like, well, I guess I'll leave it to you then. But I think they kind of, yeah, he'd mostly be happy kind of he's not. Yeah, Sorin wouldn't be alone in it. Guess that means we're all fighting together next time. So have we, my friend. So have we. If everyone is amenable to it, let us review the strategy for good measure. As previously agreed, we will divide into two groups. Sorin and his band will break through the tower's defenses and locate its core. Right. Meanwhile, the rest of us will tend to the prisoners, who will doubtless want for healing due to the rest of repeated summonings. The primals which the tower bringeth forth shall be the deities of Thavnarian myth. As we have no prior experience with such foes, pray exercise the utmost caution when confronting them. We commenced the operation at your word, my friend. For the people of Thavnair, nay, the entire world, we must prevail. Right. We've won every fight so far. This is just the next. Power of Zont available. Ooh, so Alizé or Stinian on the team? I kind of feel I have to bring the twins. I know, I always feel I enjoyed Air. Oh yeah. That is definitely an advantage to showing up early, is that you draw attention to yourself when you show up late. 2 more fates in Calusia. Cool. I respect your patience, Nam. I can only fate grind for about half an hour at a time before I need to move on and do something different to break it up. Alright, everyone. Let's go. A foul place, this. Let us proceed with caution. They seek to bar our path. The only way is through. Ooh, I think he's trying to get a triple triad card, if I remember correctly. See, I don't mind fate farming in short bursts, I just can't do it for like extended periods of time. Let's keep going. What is... I don't know quite what that is, but... Oh, it's poor Nadana. We'll free from this place, I promise. Yeah, you only did that on Sanctuary until you got what you wanted. Yeah. I suppose it's kind of similar. I kind of struggled to kind of maintain my interest a little in 14 once I finished the main story. Because for me, very much I play RPGs for the story of them. Right. I'll be back, Nadana. I sense a great surge of ether, as if a summoning hath begun. That's... Those beastly masks. It's the Manasseh come to life. We will focus it on sustaining the Ark of Sadara. The rest of you must keep going. Onwards and upwards. Right. My turn. Uh-oh. I need to remind myself what it looks like, but I know that the winter outfit, the winter armor that Thancred gets in Endwalker, is something I really want to get for myself. I can't quite remember what it exactly what it looks like. See, no, I don't know if you're strange. You're just kind of, at the moment, you're like the one of the 3 people here who doesn't have ADHD. Your brain doesn't have a dopamine addiction. Which is not a fun way of living. I don't think you're the strange one here.
My turn.
I was like, it's not enough dopamine, so it allows you to sleep. This is an abomination, a perversion of the people's faith. Right. Oh, careful. Oh, careful. Oh. I nearly did a dumb there. And I remember this fight. Trying to be fire. Fire was the stand close, right? Oh, yeah. Yeah, Vampire Survivors is a very easy one to just keep playing more of.
You underestimate me! Blizzard is the kind of a spread out AoE, right? Ooh, that's a little bit of lag there. To be fair, as much as fun as like dopamine like rush games like that are fun, I do kind of hate them at the same time because it is so easy to just waste so much of my time playing them. Oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of Survivor games now, isn't there? And this one was Blizzard. I feel this is probably a fight that should be using more of my attention than I'm giving it. Back with the finish. Lava. There's the thunder.
missed what that one was. Is that fire or... No, it doesn't matter. Right. Pressing onwards. See if we can't find this core of Uriange's. This is... I don't like how this looks. It's almost... It towers of everything itself. Soldier.
You cannot stop us!
Where are we? I don't know what we're fighting anymore. What is... These are more recognizable.
You cannot stop us!
My turn.
Again?
You underestimate me!
Probably clear cloud do that. Or sorry, it's easy stream. Yeah, I've tried. I know I've tried. Like, I know of the most recent update, but I know I put it up again not too long ago to see what all was new. It's like. I need to play the Deep Rock Galactic Survivor as well again, because it had a recent update. Yeah. So when you don't want to start to balance between two games. Yeah. Like I said, I'm still quite looking forward to seeing you try out a Had in Time mini. Usually it's 2 days, 1 day, whatever. Yeah. I still think I probably need to keep limiting myself to just 2 games at a time. I might. I do kind of wonder if I should. think of planning anything for. It's going to be. I believe Wednesday was the day you had it marked. Given its it moving into summer and being June already has me a little wondering if and what. I think for the last 2 years, like last 2 years, I've been streaming that long, but I've always kind of done something on stream on my birthday. So I wonder if I should do something this year as well. And if so, what? Just like in the picture. We're facing the Magus sisters. Right. This was middle sister, right? So fighting.
You're mine!
Oh. I don't want to drag technical stuff, I want to use it. This is right here. Oh, that's smaller safety zone than I remember. This is...
You underestimate me!
Oh, you need to split up, don't you? Dude. Or you're supposed to. That's... What?
My turn.
Just another primal, right?
I have you now.
Oh. Darn. Always timed out badly.
Let's give them a show!
Just a little more. Just a pale imitation of divinity in the end. Not done quite yet. As we keep climbing. tower. That looks important, whatever that is. Break it here. That's the plan.
You're mine.
Right away. All right. Order.
There!
Alright. Next. Ships as well. Definitely feels like we're getting close to something they don't want us at. A lot of Magitech could be protecting nothing.
You're mine.
One down. Two down. It's Lossai. I maybe should not have aggroed that. Oh, no, never mind. Frankfurt's right here already. Kind of realized after. Maybe I shouldn't have dashed that far forward. Oops. I'll trust that to you, Frankfurt. And hope that you're okay with.
You cannot stop us!
Dealing with this. Makes me nervous leaving the NPCs to deal with more than one pool.
You're mine.
There!
Rotor. Losses, and that's a weapon. Nearly there. There were so 3 animals being summoned, right? 3 sisters. Ooh.
You underestimate me.
Imagine they're not going to let us investigate whatever that device is, not a fight. Take out of the way. Just one more. No matter the cost, we must protect the tower. Harbingers elect, the Mega Sisters. Indorel. I suppose we should have expected a third sister. Ready, everyone? One more fight. That's all three of them? Ooh. How well can I remember this now? I think this is definitely where it starts getting hectic.
Mitre.
This is... Oh... Alright. Again.
Might.
Hey. Focus on one. Ow. Not good. Really not good. This one again. One together.
With heart and speed.
Right.
With heart and speed.
Mitre.
I could swear I'm...
You cannot stop us!
Two down. Just one more. We do it? Right. Just figure out how to disable this tower.
Is everyone all right?
I think so.
We fortified the captives with what magics we could. Have the defenses been disabled? All appears quiet for the moment.
I don't know if I'd say disabled, but we've defeated the primals for now.
The lower floors were disturbing enough, but this place feels wrong. The ether is heavy and thick, like wading through a quagmire.
I believe we stand in the tower's beating heart. What sayest thou, Stola?
I see it. Ether siphoned from the land runs up through the spire, flowing to a single point. This is the core we seek. Yet something is off. As large as this structure is, it siphons far more ether than is required to sustain it. 'Tis as if the core is feeding on the energy, consuming it. I need to take a closer look.
Stola?
Curious. There is something there embedded inside the core. A man's limb.
This is what we came to destroy?
Yes, if you would be so kind.
Is breaking it good enough? Someone's limb doing. Well, it's broken. Should the captives be freed?
That should be the end of it.
What now?
My theory that the tower might come crashing down following the core's destruction doth appear to be correct.
Bully for you! And how are we supposed to survive the fall?
Did we maybe should have considered this.
What of the prisoners below?
The floor beneath our very feet dissolves. Brace yourselves!
For what?
I pray I'm not too late.
I'm okay. We're all okay.
Oh, what happened? Where are we?
It looks like the island. Are these all the prisoners?
By my reckoning, we're still on the island where the tower stood. But 'Tis as if it never existed. Hardly a scratch. But how?
Grah! Is he okay?
Graha wove a levitation spell at the last moment. Large enough to catch everyone, it would seem.
Did a great job, as always. He's okay though, right?
That explains the lack of obvious injuries.
The expenditure of so much ether has taken its toll. He will need plenty of rest, but should otherwise be none the worse for wear.
We did it.
Then the immediate problem is what to do with our new friends here. They'll be much changed for their time in the tower. Even if their bodies are intact, I doubt we could say the same for their minds.
Angelo and I will take care of that.
Alize?
I have every faith in you, Alize, but there are just too many for you to treat alone.
We'll send at once to Eorzea for more porksies, and call on the local mages to lend a hand.
Hail, Scions!
Roshan.
We were watching the tower when it simply disappeared. What happened here?
I think at least this battle?
The threat is banished, and thy people delivered. They are, however, in need of treatment, and we of a secure locale and helping hands to assist us in its provision.
You shall have all this and more. Come, let us convey these unfortunate souls to the city.
We did it. One tower for now, but you're gonna be okay. Talisman's worked. We can take the fight to the rest of the towers. Don't imagine Fan Daniel will take this line down, but got a way to fight back. The liberated prisoners are being transported to Razahan for treatment. Alize and Y'shtola will oversee the administration of the tempering treatment, with support from those who know a healing spell or two. We'll go and join them in the city once you've had a moment to catch your breath. But I think for now that's going to be me for tonight. We can return to Razahan with a little bit of victory for just for the moment at least. I don't imagine it's going to last. I know it's not going to last. I have played Endwalker before. But I think even if you hadn't played it, you'd kind of know when you're only at level 81 out of 90 that there's still... You're only 10% of the way through the expansion. But, yeah. I feel that's good progress. We made it to first dungeon, finished up all the starting Labyrinthos section, and get to visit somewhere new next time. But, just 10%, yep. But for now, that's going to be me. No stream tomorrow, but I'll be back Thursday evening with... Work for my brain. Persona 3 Reload, where I'll be finishing off Persona 3 Reload. And then Friday will be a return to Final Fantasy XIV to continue this journey for Endwalker. But until then, thank you so much for coming along. I really hope you enjoyed. And until the next time I see you, have a good evening, have a good night, and goodbye.